All right.
Good, like some of these other folks
I'm about to be out the door,
really sing,
but I'm here
cut a single,
just for a little
just go a
second.
little something like this.
Check it.
Baptist bounce.
Here we go.
I'm going home on the morning train. Oh, I'm going home on the morning train.
Old school.
The evening train just made me too late. Said I'm going home on the morning train. Oh, I'm going home on the morning train. Oh, I'm going home on the morning train. The evening train just made me too late. The evening train just made me
What's going on, Sammy?
too late. The evening train just made me too late. So I'm going home on the morning train. Somebody just put your hands together. Oh, 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 yeah.
Hit it.
Oh, say yeah.
Background.
The evening train just made me. The evening train just made me. The evening train just made me too late. So I'm going home. Yes, I am on the morning. Somebody just put your hands together. Said it made.
Got that cowbell in there, Sammy. I got the cowbell.
ticket in my hand. I wanna be ready for when it comes. Gonna leave this world behind. Yes, I will.
A little more cowbell.
Let me hear you say, oh, oh, oh. Say,
You digging it, Sammy?
Let me hear you say,
Hey.
oh, oh, oh.
Gotta get them cameras focused back in.
The evening train just made me. The evening train just made me.
Let's go.
Too late. The evening train just made
Forgot what my
me.
instrumental was.
Said I'm going home on the morning train. Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm on my way out the door, so I'm not hanging around because I got to be to church in about 50 minutes. And that is at 5th and Venango at SBC, Philadelphia. There is another SBC. Shout out to Dante Hickman, Tamika Furby, who is down at Southern Baptist Church in Baltimore, Maryland. Well-known church. My daddy preached there some good years ago. Mickey, what's up? Good morning. Everybody, if you're here, just shout out yourself. Just say hello. Just say hello in the comment section. I really would appreciate it. I'm also on YouTube at theconvos.live. And so it just do what it do. So either I'm talking or I'm doing tech. Shout out to Coffee and Tech, my man John Ryan. But nonetheless, I actually had to throw this preach in here. Shout out to Dr. Virdra Jackson for allowing me to be on her Voice America show. Please check that out on theconvos.live. The link is in my profile somewhere. You can find it on Facebook, or that little word that you see, it's over here. See that right there? It says theconvos.live. Just go to that and you'll get to it. John Anna, don't say nothing smart. I am on my way out the door. I will see you in a few. Fred Harris, what's going on? Good to see you. Dr. Bryant will be preaching very soon. That is Mother's Day. That's right. Mother's Day. We got Mother's Day coming up. And so we thank God for our women in ministry. And just as the Bible is declared about women in ministry. Daniel Jackson, what is going on, brethren? Dad, you know what? Because time is tight, I would send you a link so you could jump on with me early in the morning. Shout out to Damon Jones. Dr. Damon Jones celebrating anniversary today. Beautiful picture of the lovely family up there. We got to get bougie like that. 52nd Street. And so that is the Bible Way Baptist Church. And I think Pastor Willie I. Graves is preaching that. Man, y'all stacking the deck right there. Where's my music for the bed? I'm just gonna play some little bit of instrumental while I'm talking, but I got something for y'all that's crazy. Shout out to Darian Brister. This is his track right here, and I'm gonna put this on as a music bed for Sunday. Here is my sneaker preach before I jump on and off, and y'all gotta be ready for this. Let me just leave this camera so it's not moving. All right, so check this out. yesterday, as you know, I was out riding, riding the bike, right? And y'all know I love my bike riding. So as I'm doing my bike riding, the other week when I was on, I did a bike illustration. And it's something about me that we call it sneaker preach. That's what the community calls it. But I don't really sneak it. I'm going to just preach it, okay? This is just what we do. Daniel, Dr. Jackson, Brother Jackson, you know how we do. As real preachers, we kind of will preach on anything. We will preach about IHOP. We'll preach about Waffle House. We'll preach about Yard House, a Yardbirds restaurant. We'll preach about Steak 58, 48, 22, whatever it is, right? We can find some kind of preach in it, and it is to help people out. It's just who we are. It's kind of like rappers, right? Real rappers and real MCs back in the day, they was always spitting a rhyme. I mean, if you just start tapping on the table in the lunchroom and start banging something, just boom, cat, 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 boom, cat, they'll just start rhyming because that's what they do. As preachers, this is what we do. And it all is to lead us into Christ in some way, shape, or form, okay? Without beating people over the head or something. Those who are there, they're in it, they're going to sit down at the feet. They're going to come to Bible study and all of that. But while we're out there, therefore, into all the world, we can use all of our circles of influence, and it is a gift and a talent that I have to do this. So, those of you who know about bike riding, this is very simple. Shout out to Steve Thumb, a friend of mine that I ride bikes with, friend of mine up here in Phoenixville. We rode quite a few miles together. What he mentioned to me to emphasize was how we work together to get where we're going. Let me say this again. How we work together to get where we're going. The working together is this. If you just keep going out to ride individually and exercise, right? You actually mentally can go through a depression mode or just shut down. Sometimes the road ahead of you is kind of hard and the distance is long, and you might feel like you don't have enough energy to make it. But what we do with our bike riding, right, is we ride in groups, and you ride together to get where you're going. The interesting thing about doing that, and this is real simple, if you ever watch the Tour de France, you'll notice that bike riders always sit in a flow together. Oh man, my bike is up there. I'm about to go get it. I'm about to go get my bike. All right, hang on. I gotta get my bike. 1 second. Come back, camera. All right. I got the bike, okay? Because I got to do this. Now, understand this right here. Here's the bike, right? And once you have a bunch of bikers lined up, let me show you what we do. There's a biker here, okay? There's a biker here that rides behind him. So since I don't have two bikes, I'll just use these eyeglasses right here. Here's the illustration. So the biker's riding behind you. When this bike is in front, the person in front, they are cutting the wind for the person behind them. So it's almost like a slipstream. So the air is going around this person here. So their pedaling is not using the same amount of energy as the person in front. When you have a whole train of people, each person that's sitting behind the other person is able to restore and gain their strength. Or they can continue to move at the speed of the entire peloton, if you will. And all they have to do is put just a little bit of effort in, and they'll get very far. A lot of times, what we don't understand is there are some people who are strong enough to work in the front, and there are some people that want to go for the ride, but they're a little too weak to ride in the front. But if you keep the pace just enough to keep them in your slipstream, we can all get further. Now, here's the principle that I just want to give about this. Is not proper exegesis. This is just my eisegesis, okay? And my Holy Ghost imagination. There's something I want to show you, and it basically is this right here. Romans 15:1. We then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak and not to please ourselves. Okay. Yesterday I was feeling it. And if you look at my Facebook page, you see us on there riding on my live. And there were like 2 people in the group that wasn't feeling it. And so I was out to do my ride. India, what's going on, sis? So I was out there to get my ride in. Now this ought to bless somebody on your way to church right now. I was out there to get my ride in. I was out there to do my thing. And I was going solo. And so my amigos showed up. And they, hey, Bobby, come on, man. Come on, yo, you going to ride with us. And then I realized that there was about 2 people in the group that really wasn't feeling it. And they're like 40 miles, almost 40 miles away from their finish line. So I'm like, I can do about 25 with y'all, and then I got to go back my way. But what I did was I allowed myself to pull back, join in with the brethren and a few sisters. And then the strong started to bear the infirmity of the weak, because we weren't really about pleasing ourselves. We were still getting our workout. Watch this here, sitting in the front. So as we're sitting in the front, those who are weak were behind us, but they're still flowing off of the speed we're going, because the wind is cutting and it's allowing them to reserve their strength. Now, check this other principle out. A lot of times we think that weak has never dealt with strength. And I want to say this. The weak part is because, watch this here, if I'm in front and I keep going and I'm pulling, that's what they call it. They call it a pull. So it's my turn in front, I'm pulling. The people behind me are gaining strength while I'm getting weaker. When I get weak, I just bear out to the right or bear out to the left, and then they come around and I get behind the person that was behind me, because now they have now preserved their strength, and now they can get in the front and do some pushing, and I can restore my strength. Can I say something to people in ministry? Don't just let other people be out front all the time. Sometimes they don't want to be out front. But if they're out front all the time, you need to take your turn, and the strong ought to bear the infirmity of the weak. Can I say another thing? If your pastor is your leader, I think your pastor gets weak sometimes. And when they get weak, there is strength made perfect in weakness. Now, here's the solo project on it. When you think about Paul, and he said about, I learned something, grace is sufficient, strength is made perfect in weakness. There's a point of your own weakness, right? That God allows us to do what he empowered us to do. If power worketh in us, then I think God is pleased to see you work out the power that's in you. When you work it out, as you work, weakness comes from the work. Okay, if y'all hear that, there's a weakness. Let me let it flow. Weakness starts to come from the work. So if you're working, like I said in the illustration of bike riding, India, you know what I'm talking about. Once you work the front, it's evident that you're going to get weak. But after all of that work, there's a celebration of thank you for the pull that I could sit behind you. And now all of that sitting behind you, I'm not pimping the privilege of sitting in the cut in the back. But now it's my turn up front. And then when it's my turn up front, those who were leading us at one point in time, they should be able to regain strength and good Lord Almighty, that's the word right there. It's called recover. And a lot of times we are so selfish, we don't get in front to allow others to recover. Am I saying a word to somebody? Please help me and say, I'm feeling that. Just say, I'm feeling it. You can just say, I'm feeling it. Okay. IFI, I'm feeling it. Okay. Allow other people to recover. That's the thing about weakness. Weakness is not because you haven't worked. A lot of times people's weakness is because they've done so much work. They've done so much work for so many other people, and they never got a turn to sit in the back of the peloton. And so if you understand working together, as each person that's in front, that whole train, somebody should be able to get behind the person that was in front of them. And when you keep doing that, watch this here, the momentum continues to go. Are y'all seeing what I'm saying? The momentum of the peloton keeps going, where it's a body that moves forward. Within that body, the inner workings in that body. If your church is a particular microcosmic body, there's something working in that body where if everybody's sitting behind one person all the time, the one out front is cutting all that wind for everybody. Everybody behind them has got some recovery. They have got restored and everything, but the one in front is now so weak. But here's the encouragement so that pastors don't tap out. If the team don't work together, And if they don't take their pull, that's what it's called. If you look it up, it's called a pull. India, help us out in the column. Anybody else that ride bike, they call it a pull. When you take the front, they call that a pull because the team is trying to ride at 20, 22, 25, 30. And to keep that pace, the person in the front is going to get weak. When that person gets weak, you fall off, you get in the back while the rest of the team moves forward, and you take the back position while somebody else takes the front, so that the whole peloton keeps going at a particular pace. The only way that ministries are going to keep pace is if everybody works together. And so when we understand, then those that are strong, we ought to bear the infirmities of the weak. That means ministry just ain't about you. Getting up and serving is not just about you, but there's somebody, okay? There's somebody that I'm taking the front for. But I should have an expectation that the people that are behind me, good Lord Almighty, the people that got my back, the people that are behind me are willing to work together enough to give me at least a chance to recover. Daniel Jackson, let me take this a little bit further. It's 9 o'clock. I got to get ready to get out the door. But let me take this one step further. Yesterday, there were 2 people in the group that we did not expect them to take the front at all. But the other 8 of us worked in unity so that the other 2 could always remain in the back. And here's the thing, they were seniors. Good Lord Almighty. They were actually seniors. And so we didn't even expect them. But you know what? They decided to try to take the front. And shout out to Steve Thumb. They had a 75-year-old man who was doing pulls, India, at 20 some miles per hour, who was pulling people 50 and under. That says something about the mentality of the strong bear the infirmities of the weak. And so as we continue to go, let that little preach help somebody out. I got to get out of here. I got about a 35-minute drive, so I can be on time for church. And that's about it. Okay, that's all I had to say. For the people that didn't hear it, I am going to go out once again on that Morning Train song because I've been asked to play it more than once. And this is it. As we go out on this bounce, I hope that has blessed you on this morning. I will be back next Sunday on Mother's Day to say a little something and pray for me as the Lord bless me with a word to just share. I'm going home. Put your hands together. Is there a train emoji? Somebody put a train emoji up if you're feeling it. Come on. Old school song.
Just made me too late. Said I'm going home.
That's not what I'm preaching at church today, though.
Oh, I'm going home on the morning train. Oh, I'm going home on the morning train.
There it is, India. Thank you, sis.
The evening train just made me too late.
Preachers, Pastor India Delgado will be around for people. She's going to help us out over here in Philly. If you want to do some of this, the e-cam and push buttons and stuff like this, go push buttons, that's your person, okay?
On the morning train. Somebody just put your hands together. Oh, yeah.
I'm doing my video.
Say yeah. The evening train just made me. The evening
let me see how I'm doing like this.
Just made me. The evening train just made me too late. So I'm going home. Yes, I am on the morning. Somebody just put your hands
Give me the clap.
Said it, baby.
Come on, cuz Clementine, that's how we do it. We get that bounce.
In my hand.
You know how fathers used to do that bounce. Get it.
I wanna be ready for when it comes. Gonna leave this world behind. Yes, I will. Let me hear you say, oh.
Can y'all see me? Can y'all see me?
Say yeah.
Alexa, turn on
Let me hear you say, oh.
There's a light over here.
Let's finish it. Come on. The evening train just made me. The evening train just made me too late. The evening train just made me. Said I'm going home on the morning train. Yeah.
Dag, I thought there was more to it. My bad. People, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to Fifth of Venango, and I'm not going to sing that song because I can't stop it and do any kind of auto tune or anything. So that's